Welcome everybody to my Literacy Strategies Professional Development for the 21st Century Classroom and Library. My name is Megan Wade. I'm a graduate student at Western Kentucky University, and I will be your presenter today. So what is literacy, and why is this important to our students in the 21st century classroom? According to Webster's Dictionary, at its most basic definition, literacy is the quality or state of being able to read and write. However, in the 21st century classroom, we start to expand this definition to having knowledge or competency in a subject area. For example, students can be literate in technology, music, carpentry, science, and so on. That is why as teachers and librarians, we must start to add technology and use a variety of text, such as fiction, nonfiction, and comic books, in subject areas our students will enjoy to help our students learn and grow. I want us to take just a moment and watch this video that shows the power literacy can have over our students.
Evening.
Evening.
May I ring that up for you?
Yes, please.
Have a good evening.
Repeat after me. A.
A.
Then
B.
and C.
C.
A, B, C, D,
E, F, G.
No, not good. Not good.
Just the sounds that words make.
cat,
Dog.
calamari,
Trash.
on the beach.
Oh. Good.
Farm, fresh.
My son and I mowed the grass.
That's a gold star. Unbelievable.
Dad,
Hey, Tubbs, I read your book.
you read my book.
Now that we know what literacy is and the power it holds over our students, let's look at how we as librarians and teachers can incorporate literacy strategies into our library programs and classrooms. First, we're going to look at pre-reading strategies. Pre-reading strategies help students start to predict or make hypotheses about a text. They help tap into students' prior knowledge, and they give students a purpose to make them want to read a book. The three pre-reading strategies we're going to look at are book boxes, contrast charts, and picture packets. Book boxes are a good way to get students interested into a new book. To start, a teacher or librarian picks objects related to a book and places it in a box. Then they pull the objects out one at a time and have students make predictions over what they think the book is about. This generates higher order thinking and gets students to share their thought process out loud. This strategy promotes student creativity and allows students to evaluate their own predictions as each new item is revealed. For example, let's construct a book box for the book Bananas by Jacqueline Farmer. This book describes the nutrition value of bananas and how they are grown. Possible items we could use in our book box are bananas, a magnifying glass, a fork, twine, a plastic bag, and an apple. Students could use these items to determine what they thought this book was going to be about, and then they could keep reevaluating their thought process each time a new item is shown. The next strategy we're going to look at are contrast charts. Contrast charts are easy to create and can be implemented in a variety of ways. Students can create contrast charts using paper and pencil, or they can use websites such as Wiki and Google Docs. Online versions would allow students to work on the chart at the same time using the share options, and they could also add multimedia such as pictures and clip art. This would allow some of your students to demonstrate their thinking in a more variety of ways. Contrast charts are beneficial to students because they are engaging in higher order thinking and because they are looking at two sides of an issue. So for example, if you presented your students with the issue of describing what a good day would look like versus what a bad day would look like. Lastly, let's look at picture book packets. Picture packets are a group of images that pertain to a specific topic. They are designed to help students make connections to prior knowledge and discuss what they see in the pictures, the meaning represented in the pictures, and they also help students generate questions that they would like to answer. For example, before reading The Hatchet by Gary Paulson, students could look at pictures of a hatchet, chart of edible berries, handcrafted bows and arrows, spears, and shelters from rock ledges. All of these types of pictures and items would kind of help students start to think about surviving out in the wild and what questions they would have. The second type of literacy strategies we're going to look at are called during reading activities. According to Yope and Yope, during reading activities help students participate in thoughtful, active engagement, which is necessary for the construction of meaning. They also say that strategies that make students generate questions, create visuals, summarize, and look at text structure enhances their comprehension and understanding of literature. The three during reading activities we're going to look at are literature circles, graphic organizers, and character carousels. Literature circles are temporary groups of students who discuss a text. The group decides when to meet, how much to read, and they rotate group roles. This strategy is very good in the classroom if you need to differentiate among your students, because you can group students together based on their reading ability and such forth. You can also group them based on, what they're interested in. A couple of the different group roles that you can assign students are questioner, and that students develops questions for the students or for the group to go over. Literary luminary, which locates passages that have a specific meaning. The connector, which makes connections between the book and the student's real life. The illustrator, which creates graphics. Vocabulary enhancer, which selects words that maybe they didn't know what the meaning was or that they found interesting, and they share those with the group. And then lastly, we have the travel tracer. This student records the character travels. They could do that as a list. They could make a map. That part is kind of depending upon the student. Next, we have the graphic organizer. Graphic organizers are a way for students to visually represent ideas in a story. There are many ways a teacher or librarian can create a graphic organizer. You can create a very simple one where maybe the students only have to pick out one item from the story, such as maybe the plot or maybe just the characters. Or you can make your graphic organizer more detailed. So you can have students looking at multiple aspects of the story. So they could be looking at the setting, the characters, and the plot all at one time. The next strategy we're going to look at is character carousels. A character carousel gets students up and moving around the classroom. You can have students list character attributes such as appearance, personalities. You can have students list character roles in the story, how characters respond to certain situations, and you can have your students make predictions about each character in the book. Students can do this on poster board that's been hung up around the room, and you could just have students write one piece of information on each poster for each character, Or you can also do this online. So you could have students set up a wiki or a Google Doc page where they have to write one answer for each character. The share button on Google Drive would make this very easy to do. This type of activity really gets students to think critically about a character. You know, they have to start digging deep, especially if the student before them has already used the attribute or characteristic that they wanted to write down. And this also helps get them engaged in whole class discussions. When you go over this at the end, you know, students can really see what the other person thought about. The last type of literacy strategies we're going to look at are post-reading activities. The quality of post-reading activities affects where students perceive reading a text as enjoyable or as a classwork activity. So this is really going to determine what your students think about what you're doing in class. Are they going to enjoy it, or are they going to just be like, oh, well, here's another assignment?
Created using Powtoon.